I heard the news, Helen. You've bought a new house, haven't you? That's wonderful. What isn't so wonderful is that you didn't tell me about it. I'm your mother-in-law, you know. I have a right to know these things. But that's an issue for another time. There's something you would like to ask me about, right? Not that I can think of. Oh, don't be shy. If you bought a new house, that can only possibly mean one thing. Oh, and it wasn't just new to you. You had to build it from scratch. That must have been expensive. Well, it certainly wasn't cheap. How much? Are you really asking me how much I paid for my house? I told you, Helen. I'm your mother-in-law. I have a God-given right to know these things. Frankly, I'm appalled that you made such a big decision without consulting with me. I didn't think I needed to consult with you, seeing as though it's my house and Ken is, well, you know. Really, why are you so interested in my new house? I don't even know how you found out about everything. I didn't tell you about it for a reason. Yes, apparently you think I'm a complete simpleton and wouldn't know unless you told me. But you've underestimated me, Helen. So, are you gonna tell me how you found out, or? Ken told me about it, you idiot. Oh no, why would he do that? He had no business telling you. He had every right to tell me. He's my son and you're my daughter-in-law. That's what they call a family. Haven't you ever heard of the term? Why are you still calling me family? Because despite your incredible success in convincing me that you're an absolute failure as a wife, as long as you are married to my son, I have no choice but to call you as such. But that's not important right now. What is important is that you have known that you would be moving for months now, and you never told us. I never told you because it's none of your concern. I have no idea what Ken was thinking when he told you about me building a new house. All I know is that my house is my house, and what I do with it has nothing to do with you. What is it with all this talk of it being your house? It's our house? No, it's mine. Such selfishness. Honestly, I have no idea why my son married a woman who would disrespect his parents like this. But I'm growing tired of this back and forth with you. Let's get to the point. When can we move in? Excuse me? I was speaking plain English, Helen. When can we move into the house? Are our rooms ready yet? Your rooms? I swear, it's like I'm talking to a brick wall. This is so bizarre. I already moved in since it's my house. You what? You moved into our house already, without my permission? This is getting really confusing. I do not need your permission to move into my house. It's mine, and mine alone. I swear, you're like a child who gets upset when her parents take away her toys. In any case, if you've moved in, the house must be finished. We'll start making the necessary preparations right away. Honestly, why didn't you let us know about this sooner? Do you have any idea how much time you've cost us? We could have been ready to go by now if you had given us proper notice. Ready for what? What in the world is going on here? By the way, how many bedrooms are there in the house? I'm not answering until you explain yourself. Answer me. 3. There, are you happy? 3 bedrooms? That's wonderful. It's more than wonderful. It's exactly what I was hoping for. That will be just the right size. Good work, Helen. This may be the first thing you've done that hasn't disappointed me. I wasn't thinking about your approval when I designed the house. My goodness, though. 3 bedrooms? That must have been pricey. In this market, houses of that size go for upwards of $400,000. So, you must have paid around $500,000 since it's brand new. Actually, it was around $600,000. Marvelous. Wait, why did I tell you that? Ugh. And seriously, what business do you have knowing how much I spent on it? I just want to know whether the house you built for us will be satisfactory. And from what you say, it sounds like it will be absolutely perfect. You haven't even seen the house. How can you say that? And seriously, for the last time, what on earth is your point here? I want an explanation and I want it now. Why are you talking to me like you're planning on moving in with me? Because we are, and we're very excited. What? I feel as giddy as a schoolgirl right now. Now, just so you don't forget, this does not mean I'm letting you off the hook for not telling us sooner. From now on, I expect to be given advance notice of any large decisions. I won't be so forgiving in the future, however. What? There is no future for us. There's not even a present. Ken, we need to talk. It's about your mom. She's been sending me bizarre texts all morning. She's talking about moving into my new house. Why did you tell her about that? She didn't need to know, and you didn't need to tell her. She even knows my address for Pete's sake. What is wrong with you?
Oh, Mom already texted you? That's great. Now we can finally get to work.
On what?
Fixing that attitude of yours. Come on, Helen. Don't you think you've been acting like a child for long enough? We shouldn't be fighting. We love each other. You and I both know that you want us to live together as one happy family in that big new house of ours. You're not really thinking of keeping me out, are you?
You too? It's not our house. It's mine. All mine. You don't own any piece of it.
But you went out of your way to tell me your new address, right? That means you still have feelings for me. And as long as I'm still in your heart, that means I'll always have a place in that home.
You haven't changed one bit, Ken. You're still just as oblivious and selfish as ever. It's like you think you're the main character of the Earth.
Maybe not of the whole Earth, but at the very least, yeah, I'm the main character of your life. Who's had a bigger impact on you than me?
Believe me, very few people have made as big of a negative impact on me as you have. But for real, I didn't go out of my way to tell you my address. You said you wanted to send me some of my stuff that you took from our old house by accident. It's not like I wanted to tell you where I live.
Sure, you keep telling yourself that.
I'm dead serious about this, Ken. Do not come anywhere near my house. If you so much as take one step onto my property, I'll call the police immediately.
No, you won't. You know you still love me.
After what you did to me? No, Ken, I don't have any feelings for you. You, your mom, your dad, your whole family are nothing to me anymore. I was so confused by your mom's text earlier that I was never able to actually have an adult conversation with her. But now, I'm gonna give it to her straight. You are not living with me in this house or any other house.
Why are you being so obstinate about this? I know that we can work things out. All you need to do is take care of that attitude problem of yours, and we'll be golden.
This is not a problem of my attitude. The problem is that you and your whole family are a bunch of sociopaths. And I'm done talking with you about this. Go right now and tell your mom the truth, you lying, manipulative, cheating jerk. Good morning, Helen. We're just about to head over to our new house. You have got to be kidding me. What's the matter, dear? Are you upset we didn't give you advance notice that we were coming? Well, the shoe's on the other foot now. Now you know how it feels to have big decisions dropped on you at the last minute. So, you had better have our rooms cleaned out and ready by the time we get there. Renee, what are you thinking? You cannot move into my house. There is no room for you here. You mean there's not enough space for us? You have 3 bedrooms, Helen. You can find some way to move things around and clear out our room for us. If you'd like, I can take some of your things down to the pawn shop for you later on this afternoon. I'll be keeping any money I get for them, of course. I'm not moving my things for you. You're not going to sell my things. Would you please just listen to me for one moment? And what good would come from listening to a stupid, immature woman like you, How shameless can you be? You knew we would be moving in with you soon. You should have had everything ready. Your procrastination habit is one more thing that I'll have to fix. Don't worry, though. We'll be living together from now on, so I'll have more than enough time to straighten you out. I'll make you into a decent wife for my son if it's the last thing I do. I have told you multiple times that you are not going to move in with me. I do not need you to straighten me out. And finally, what do you mean, decent wife for your son? Don't tell me you didn't talk to Ken yet. Don't patronize me. Ken is my son. I've talked to him more than enough to know about all the ways you've victimized him. This is gonna give me a migraine. I can't even imagine how many migraines you've caused poor Ken over the years. I feel so sorry for him being stuck with such an awful wife. But again, I'm going to solve that problem personally. Your re-education program starts today. It will never start because I don't need it and you can't live here. Me and my parents are living here and you aren't welcome. What did you just say? You allowed your parents to move in with you before us? I've never heard of such a thing. Living with my parents? You've never heard of that? If you were single, that would be another thing entirely. But you knew what it meant when you got married to my son. The moment you said I do, you swore a sacred oath to prioritize us over them. That's another thing I'll have to add to your re-education curriculum. You don't even understand what it means to be married. Apparently, you don't understand what it means to be divorced. What? I can't take this anymore. I've been beating around the bush for too long. I was trying to get you to talk to Ken and have him explain everything for me so I wouldn't have to. But I see that plan was a miserable failure. If Ken isn't going to tell you and you're not going to ask him, I guess it falls to me. So here goes. Ken and I have been divorced for 6 months. What? Don't be ridiculous. That's impossible. Now, stop joking around. I'm not joking. Would you just listen to me for once? We are divorced. Why Ken never told you is anyone's guess, but that's how it is. I am single now. I have nothing to do with you anymore. No relationship, no connection, no nothing. Do you get it now? I don't believe it. Ken never told me he divorced you. I suppose it shouldn't come as much of a surprise to me. You never were a good wife to him. It's high time he got rid of you. But don't throw this all on Ken. Why didn't you tell me about your divorce? I thought Ken would have. Plus, it's not like you and I ever had a particularly good relationship. I mean, if I'm being totally honest, you were an awful mother-in-law to me. So I guess I took our divorce as a good enough excuse to never speak another word to you ever again. I am a fantastic mother-in-law. Again, why are you speaking in the present tense? You are not my mother-in-law. You were my mother-in-law. So we're done. Through. Finished. You're not moving into my house. Do you get it now? Yes, Helen. I get it. I get that you're bitter and angry at my son for casting you aside. He didn't cast me aside. I'm the one who divorced him, not the other way around. Don't make me laugh. You need my son. Without him, you would be living on the streets by the weekend. Ken, however, has no need for a lousy wife like you. I know the truth hurts, but facts don't care about your feelings. Ken is a complete moron who destroyed our marriage. How dare you insult my son, after all he's done for you? Let's talk about all the things he's done for me then, shall we? He cheated on me. Liar. Yeah, Ken did lie to me about why our savings were being depleted. I only found out how he had been spending all our money on her after I found out about the affair. But that wasn't enough for him, apparently. When I started controlling his access to our finances, he started stealing money from his own company to keep his mistress happy. A sophisticated corporation like his obviously found out about that pretty quickly, though, and fired him right away. I don't believe you. Ken would never do that. I told you, Renee, the truth hurts, but you need to hear it all. Ken obviously isn't telling you. Once he ran out of money to funnel to her, though, she ditched him and left town. I divorced him, and now he's alone with nothing but a pile of debt to keep him company. I'm sure it can't be easy for him right now, and doubly sure that he is desperate to get back together with me, but he's not my problem anymore. I don't care what happens to him. Is that all true? Did Ken actually do all those things? He sure did, but it gets worse. Back when I first told him I wanted to divorce, he was actually in agreement. His words to me were, "Good, I don't need you anyway. I have a girl now who's way better than you in every way." That was before she left him. But all that big talk went out the window once he got fired. He couldn't pay his rent anymore, his mistress abandoned him, and his company sued him to recover the money he stole. Then he came crawling back to me, weeping and crying about how sorry he was and that he realizes now how much he needed me. What a pathetic thing he's become. I can't believe that my Ken would do that. That poor, poor boy. He was never like this before. That can only mean one thing. You did this to him. Oh, for the love of God! If you had been a better wife to him, he never would have gone so desperate for a decent companion. It must have been terrible to live with your constant abuse and scorn. Have you been paying attention at all this conversation? Well, at any rate, now I understand how Ken got to be the way he is. It's the unavoidable result of being raised by someone like you. But again, we're divorced now, so it doesn't matter to me anymore. Getting him out of my life feels like a massive weight has been lifted off my shoulders. I feel better than I have in years. I built this awesome house for me and my parents to live in, and neither him nor you will ever set foot inside. Really, the resemblance is uncanny. No matter how much trouble you get yourself into, you always think you have the upper hand. I don't know how you've managed to get this far in life, but it looks like your luck has finally run out. You can say that again. If we can't live with you, where are we supposed to live now? I don't know. It's not really my problem. What are you asking me for? Looks like reality is set in, though. You realize that you can't live with me, so you can unbox your stuff and put it all back in your house. No, Helen, I can't. Huh? Why not? Because I already sold our house. You what? You sold your house already? Are you serious? Well, of course I did. We were going to move into your house. At least I thought we were. So I sold the old house. And for the record, I did talk to Ken about it. He thought it would be a great idea. The housing market is really strong right now, so we thought we could get a good deal of money for our house. Ah, that explains it. He just wanted to get his hands on the money you got from selling the house. Probably to try and get back together with his mistress. What a moron. He tried to get back together with me the other day too, you know? After everything, he actually thought I was going to let you guys live here with me. Enough about you. What about us? What are we going to do now? It's none of my concern. Go wherever you want and live wherever you want. You're adults, you can take care of yourselves. I have no relationship to you and no reason to help you at all. How can you say we have no relationship? We're your in-laws. Not anymore, you're not. I divorced your son. How many times do I have to tell you before it sinks in? Just because you divorced my son doesn't mean you can't have any pity on us. We're homeless now. Yeah, so? You did this all to yourself. I never told you that you could live with me. In fact, I told you multiple times that you cannot live with me. But you ignored me and sold your house. That's on you. So, good luck finding a place to live. You'd better hurry, too, because it's supposed to rain pretty hard tonight. Now, never message me again. I hope you're proud of yourself, Helen. I knew you had a cruel heart after hearing about how you pushed my son away. But you have crossed the line today. You actually called the police on us. I've never been so humiliated in my life. You treated us like nothing more than common criminals. How could you do this to us?
Wake up, you senile old hag!
What did you just call me? I will never forgive you for this. You'll regret this, mark my words.
You don't need to forgive me for anything. I did nothing wrong. Now shut up, calm down, and listen. You just forced your way into my house. You know what that's called? Trespassing. Plus, you were trying to drag in your boxes of stuff along with you. After he pushed you back out the door, my dad said he'd never met a family of psychopaths like you and said we should call the cops. So I did. That's all.
But that's not true. We're not psychopaths. You are so lucky we didn't get arrested. We just had to go down to the police station and listen to some infantilizing lecture for hours on end.
And why do you think that is, huh? It's because we decided not to press charges this time. But if you ever come near our property again, you will get arrested and we will press charges.
We had no other choice. We sold our house. We have nowhere else to go. My husband is furious, you know.
At me?
No, worse. At me. He thinks this is all somehow my fault.
Yeah, that's probably because it is all your fault. Because of your catastrophic combination of arrogance and stupidity, he is now homeless. I can understand why he'd be mad about that.
I thought that we'd start living in a nice new house today. Why did you have to go and divorce Ken?
Why are you still pretending I did something unfair when I divorced him? You know exactly what he did. He stole money from me and his company. If he can't pay it all back, then you're gonna have to do it for him.
What? You expect money out of us now? After all you've done to us? It still isn't enough?
No! It's nowhere near enough. I want the money back that he gave to his mistress. Every last cent.
I have never in my life met anybody as spiteful and bitter as you are. How can you bear to live with so much hate in your heart?
Hate? This isn't hate. Righteous fury, maybe. But hate? No. I'm just exercising my God-given rights. Like property rights. If you ever set foot on my property again, I will call the police. You will be arrested, and we will press charges.
Or, hear me out here, or you could get back together with my son.
Short answer, no. Long answer, there is no way in hell I am ever going to get back together with your son. I mean, really? Did you actually think I would agree to that?
All I'm saying is, wouldn't it be so nice for us to all get along as one big happy family? You and your parents, Ken and us, all living together under one roof?
That sounds awful.
But it's not fair. We want to live there too. Why are your parents the only ones who get to live in a nice house like yours? Let's all behave like adults and let bygones be bygones. We don't need to sue each other or anything like that. You're a good person, Helen. Don't you have it in your heart to forgive us?
No? Now stop contacting me. God, you're so clueless. Like you have such an appalling lack of self-awareness. Any rational person could see that every single thing that has happened is your fault and Ken's fault, but you still blame me. I'm not going to say one more word to you until you acknowledge your part in all of this. Well, Renee, do you acknowledge that you are to blame for what happened today?
I suppose I can admit that I may have been a bit hasty in my decision-making.
A bit hasty may be the understatement of the year, but I'll take it for now.
Moving on then. We need help. We're in big trouble. We have nowhere to live now. Don't you think you could help us out, Helen? All we need is one room. Your house is 3 bedrooms, right? You have one, your parents have another. That means there's still one left. Could we have that room just until we find a new place to live? I'm not asking for too much.
Yes, Renee. Yes, you are asking for too much. How do you not get that? What possible reason could I have to put you up in my house? Ken and I are divorced, and I never liked you. My God in heaven, how do you not understand that? This whole sequence of events has been so bizarre that it's hilarious when you think about it.
We desperately need assistance. I had no idea any of this was going to happen.
I saw it coming a mile away.
Are you really going to abandon us? Leave us homeless?
Abandoning implies that I had some responsibility to you, which I do not.
If you're not going to help us out, what should we do?
How should I know? Figure it out yourselves. You got yourself into this mess so you can get yourself out. Now, for the final time, goodbye. I hope you and the rest of your family can come together and solve your problem. You're about to go through a difficult time, and you'll need each other now more than ever.
Hello there, Helen. I hope everything is going well for you these days. If it's all right with you, I would appreciate you giving me an opportunity to apologize.
No, not a chance. I learned my lesson about dealing with you people before. I don't need an apology, and I don't want to hear how hard things are for you. We are done. I don't know why I didn't block you.
Helen, please, wait. I promise you, I'm not going to ask you for anything. I simply want the chance to apologize for my behavior, and then I'll never bother you again.
All right. Against my better judgment, I'll hear you out. But if I catch one whiff of you asking for something, I'm blocking you right away.
I totally understand given my behavior recently. Helen, I am so terribly sorry for everything that you went through because of me and my family. I talked to Ken. He told me everything. And I really mean everything. I was completely wrong to blame you for anything that happened between you and Ken. He was in the wrong, full stop. I know it may be difficult, but I really hope that you could find it in your heart to forgive me.
That's sounding awfully close to asking for something, Renee. My finger is over the block button right now.
No, it's not, I swear. My conscience has been killing me ever since that day we tried to force our way into your home. Then, after I had a talk with Ken, I knew that I would never be able to move on unless I apologized to you directly.
Is that really all?
Yes, Helen. I thought you were in the wrong, but I was the one who wasn't thinking clearly. Honestly, when I think about the way I acted back then, I made an absolute fool of myself. I'm sorry for what Ken and I did to you, and promise that we'll never bother you again. We will see to it that both you and Ken's old company are compensated for his theft. Ken is doing his best to work it off himself. I just wanted you to know that.
Wow, that was really unexpected. Well, thank you for that, Renee. It's all right. It's all in the past. We can both move on.
Thank you so much, dear. Oh, and I managed to cancel the sale of the house to the real estate agency, so we're all doing just fine right now. Ken's father and I are working on reforming Ken as well. We'll handle him as a family. That's all I wanted to tell you, Helen. I'll leave you in peace now. Thank you for your time.
I'm glad you messaged me, Renee. And, there were things I did wrong too. I could have been more upfront with you from the beginning, and we could have avoided this whole thing. I know we probably won't see each other again, but I want you to know that I wish you and your family the best. It terrified me when Renee's name came across my phone, but I guess she genuinely wanted to apologize. She never contacted me again after that. Ken is making his monthly payments to me on time every month. He seems to be on the road to reform as well. I guess it took me being honest about my feelings to get him to see the light, so to speak. And that's the lesson I'm taking away from this. Be assertive. If you don't, there are some people who just won't get it.